So in a week where it's been full of international football, United will be back in action in a quarter of this week where we'll be coming up against Brentford. But news never goes away when it comes to Man United. And this is why we put together United Today for you. We've got news on some players that are returning to Carrington and some transfer news, and also Sir Jim Ratcliffe on the stadium that we are trying to put up next to Old Trafford. All of this and many more coming up here on United Today. Stay with us. When we come back, I unpack everything for you here on United Today. All right, thank you very much, and thanks for sticking and staying with us here on United Today. Please, if this is your first time watching this update show on United Today, please remember to hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so that you can help us, and together we can grow this community. We know you enjoy it. We know you love it with us here. And it's always fun coming your way with United Today. Thank you for joining. Please remember to hit the subscribe button. So let's start with some news from the international camp. Anytime your players go out for international break, it's always one prayer that your players come back safe and sound. So when injury situations happen, it becomes a huge cause for concern, especially given United and how our season has been so far. Now, Harry Maguire, who has been with the English camp, has been asked to come back to Carrington due to the fact that he has sustained a slight injury. It's not described as serious. I mean, looking at the stage that we've gotten to with the season, when a slight knock happens at an international break where it's not a competitive game that's being played by friendly games. I mean, teams are getting themselves into shape ahead of international tournament that will be happening in the summer. So you try as much as possible to get these players back into their clubs where they get the needed treatment and all of that. So all of these things have necessitated that Harry Maguire, who sustained a bit of an injury, comes back into the fold for Man United. It's always awkward. It's always dicey when these players go out there and then sustain injury. I'll show you this clip of Gary Neville talking about some very awkward situation that happened when he was in the English camp. He was speaking on the Overlap, the show that is broadcasted on Sky Bet, where he was talking about some very interesting incident that happened between Sir Alex Ferguson, Glenn Hoddle as coach, where he had to manage an issue of injury. Let's take a look. When we come back, I'll give you other information with regards to this.
I only pulled out two friendlies where it was done. A deal was done with the manager and the England. Only two. One under Glenn Hoddle, he wasn't happy, and then that one was under Kevin Keegan. Glenn got me into the room.
What did he say?
Well, he basically, I did have a slight issue, but he wanted me back, basically.
What was the game? Was it weren't a friend?
So basically, Glenn had this thing: if you were injured,
you still
have to come,
yeah,
and we'll give you treatment here. So a couple of days in, I got a call from the physio of the club: get back here, have treatment. And they said, no,
we're having it here.
You're having it here. So I went in to see Glenn. Said, look, Glenn, the club want me back. They think give me more intense treatment there than in a hotel room. He said, no, you're having treatment here. Anyway, he rang. The boss rang him.
I can imagine. He blasted him.
Yeah.
If I was England manager at the time.
And Glenn said, you're going back, but I never want to be put in that position ever again.
Yeah, it's awkward, isn't it?
It was awkward. It was, you've been in that. Honestly, it was awkward because I think I was 20. I'm 23 at the time, by the way. It's 98, 99. This, so in fact, it's 97. So I'm 22, 23.
But that shouldn't be on the player, should it?
No, but I'm saying you're in that position where you're hoping the physio sort it out, the manager sort it out. But Glenn was a bit spiky, wasn't he?
He was.
Whereas Kevin was a lot more. He'd have a conversation and a bit more mature.
So that is Gary Neville there sharing some very interesting incident that happened. So these players go, and then when they come back injured, it becomes a bit of an issue for the various clubs. But Harry Maguire has been sent back to Carrington to get himself treated as quickly as possible for the club. Now, it's only Harry Maguire that has been brought back. Leandro Martinez has also left the camp of Argentina. We saw him training with a team in Argentina over the last couple of days when he joined his colleagues. He's expected to be back this weekend to play in a game against Brentford. not billed to start, but expected to play a role in that game. So Leandro Martinez has also come back to Carrington to continue his training with the team. And not only Leandro Martinez as well, Bruno Fernandez has been also given the opportunity to leave camp. Roberto Martinez, who's the coach of Portugal, after playing a certain group of players, asked them to leave camp for another set to also continue. This is just to make sure that these players come back fit and healthy for their clubs to complete the season. So Leandro Martinez, Bruno Fernandez, and Harry Maguire have all returned back to base. For Bruno Fernandez, he has not necessarily come back to Manchester. He's been given the time off so that he can recuperate and then come back into the team. So these are some very important updates with regards to these players. Now, still on international duty, Kobbie Mainoo made his debut for England, and what a debut he had. Unfortunately, England lost that game against Brazil, but Mainoo showed what he's made of: his composure, his ability to read a game, his ability to pick the ball from the deep to make things happen. And Gary Southgate had some very interesting words to say about Mainoo, talking about how he's fit into the team and all of that. As you can see, he's become one of the players who made their debut alongside Anthony Gordon and a few other players. But Mainoo showed glimpses of how excellent he is as a player and how well he can play and he can fit into this English national team. So Mainoo made his debut. Now, another player who also played during this international break has been Leandro Garnacho, and he seemed to be fitted. And interestingly, as you know, Mainoo and Leandro Garnacho grew up together in the academy and were all in the FA Youth Cup final that they played. And these two players have been very significant or pivotal for this team. And Christian Romero shared some very interesting thoughts about Leandro Garnacho, where he said that Garnacho is going to give a lot to this national team. It's not easy to adapt to this group, but I see him very well. He's very shy, but I see him very well with a huge future. It will depend on him how far he wants to go, but the conditions are more than enough. Garnacho is playing very well for the club, and he also showed very, very good football when he played for the Argentine national team in the game that they played in the international break, where he came on in the second half and played absolutely very well for the Argentine national team. So that's it by way of updates from players that have been away on international break. Now let's do some quick transfer stories. And news that we are gathering indicate that United are very, very much interested in an Argentine centre-back known as Aaron Anselmino. Now, Anselmino plays for Boca Junior and he has a release clause of £17.2 million. And I've seen a bit of a clip of this player and he looks very good. Now, United has a plan in case United would want to get this player. Now, United are determined to get this guy from Boca Juniors. He's a centre-back, and with the intention of perhaps loaning him back to some club in Europe so that he can find his feet, he can adapt to the European game before perhaps bringing him into the club. This is the news that United are interested in Aaron Anselmino. You can check him out. He looks like a very young, prospective player that can add a bit more to the side when he comes back. So, still talking on transfers, we've been wondering and we've been doing something we call our own transfer wish list. Now, we've looked at the team Man United and we've looked at where issues are and some of the names that has come up with regards to players to fill these roles. Now, if you can see from this chart that we've put here, we have Andre Onana in post. Diego Dalot would be at right back. Luke Shaw will be at left back. Leandro Martinez will be at left centre back. Now, where the issue is with regards to the transfer of a right centre back, or the issue is with the transfer of a right centre back, a lot of names have come up, but one name that has become very predominant has been Jean-Claire Todibo of OGC Nice. So, he's one player, from the last transfer window through to the January transfer window till now, and given Manchester United's link to OGC Nice, sharing the same owner, it is likely that this Jean-Claire Todibo deal is likely to happen. So we've plugged him in there. We'll definitely need a midfielder. Kobe Mayu has come in to sit at the base. Bruno Fernandez at left central midfield. At right central midfield, we are looking at names. And one of the names that have also been dominated within there is Amadou Onana of Everton. His name has come up as one of the players that United will be looking out for. He brings in a lot more physicality, a lot more strength, and is seen as an ideal partner for Kobe Mayu, and so we've slotted him there. Now on the right side of midfield, another name that I've always been mentioning here on our updates has been Michael Olise. It's thought that his transfer wouldn't be much more complicated given that there's a release clause. Player wants to come, and Crystal Palace also wants to make a deal. So it looks as if Michael Olise will be blocking the right wing for United. And also centre forward, is Rasmus Højlund and Marcus Rashford at left wing. So this is a transfer wish list. There are a lot more names like Jared Brantwaite, and a few more other names that have been dominating with regards to these news. So these are transfer wish list. How we feel the team should shape up going into next season. What do you make of this list? What do you make of this wish list? You can also share your thoughts with us here in the comment section, and also remember to leave some likes and share with your friends. Let's wrap it up with Sir Jim Ratcliffe with regards to the stadium redevelopment or the building of a new stadium. As we've said many times, Sir Jim Ratcliffe is in favor of building a new stadium, of building a new Old Trafford. And now, news coming in from Mike Keegan of the Daily Mail indicates that Sir Jim Ratcliffe is mentioning a capacity of over 100,000 capacity. Old Trafford currently stands around 75,000, 76,000. Increasing capacity to 100,000, we'll see a lot more people getting access to the stadium. So still, the feasibility is going. The team that has been taxed, the task force that have been put together to bring out a report by end of the year or close to the end of the year, are still working and are trying to do their best in a quest to see Sir Jim Ratcliffe put together what he refers to as the Wembley of the North. All right, so we'll see how it goes with regards to the stadium redevelopment. It's been a pleasure coming your way on United today. Thanks very much. Tomorrow we'll bring you a huge debate here on the United and Everything Football podcast. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you on the next one. Have a great time. Remember to subscribe and share with your friends and leave a comment. See you the next time.